Dispatcher, 911. What's your emergency? AJ, I heard gunshots downstairs in my parents' room. AJ explained that he was on the third floor, hiding in his bedroom closet, while his parents' master bedroom was located on the second floor. He expressed concern over their bedroom door being ajar, noting it was usually closed. Was a young boy capable of murdering his own parents in cold blood? Or had they just made the worst mistake of their careers?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Antonio Armstrong Jr., guilty of capital murder as charged.
Over the next 7 years, the case would twist and turn in ways no one could have predicted. 2 mistrials, a divided jury, a final verdict that would send shockwaves through the courtroom. And through it all, one question remained unanswered. Was the right person convicted? Or does the real killer still walk free? This is the case of Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr., a story of family, tragedy, and a search for the truth that may never be found. If A.J. Armstrong pulled the trigger, why is there no gunshot residue on him? And if he didn't, who did? Bellaire, Texas, a serene suburb of Houston, known for its tree-lined streets and tight-knit community. In the sweltering heat of July 29, 2016, this peaceful enclave was about to be rocked by an unimaginable tragedy. Victims: Antonio Armstrong Sr., aged 42, was a former NFL linebacker who had transitioned into a successful motivational speaker and fitness entrepreneur. His wife, Dawn Armstrong, was a dedicated mother and a beloved figure in the community. Together, they were seen as the epitome of a loving, successful couple, raising their 3 children with strong values and faith. Accused: their 16-year-old son, Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr., a high school athlete with aspirations to follow in his father's footsteps. To outsiders, A.J. appeared to have a promising future, supported by a family that cherished him. Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. was born on March 23, 2000, in Houston, Texas, to parents Antonio Armstrong Sr. and Dawn Armstrong. He grew up in a family deeply rooted in sports and community engagement. His father, Antonio Sr., was a notable figure in football, having played as a linebacker for Texas A&M University and later in the NFL and Canadian Football League. His mother, Dawn, was known for her dedication to family and community. During his early years, AJ was described as an active and sociable child. He attended local schools in Houston, including Lamar High School and the Kincaid School, where he participated in various athletic programs, mirroring his father's passion for sports. Family and friends often observed a close-knit bond among the Armstrong family members, with AJ being an integral part of family activities and events. However, as AJ entered his teenage years, he faced several challenges. Reports indicate that he struggled academically and behaviorally, leading to disciplinary actions. In the period leading up to the tragic events of July 2016, AJ had been expelled from school, which caused tension within the household. His parents, committed to instilling discipline and responsibility, reportedly enforced strict rules, which AJ found increasingly difficult to adhere to. This strain in the parent-child relationship was a focal point during the subsequent investigations and trials. Despite these challenges, those who knew AJ during his childhood recall moments of warmth and potential. The complexities of his upbringing, marked by both support and discipline, have been scrutinized extensively in light of the events that unfolded in 2016. The crime scene. In the early hours of July 29, 2016, first responders arrived at the Armstrong residence after a distressing 911 call from AJ. They discovered Antonio and Dawn in their bedroom, both suffering from gunshot wounds to the head. Dawn was pronounced dead at the scene. Antonio was transported to Memorial Hermann Hospital in critical condition and later succumbed to his injuries. The murder weapon was identified as Antonio Sr.'s own gun, a .22 caliber pistol kept in the home. There were no signs of forced entry, and the security system indicated no unauthorized access. At approximately 1:40 a.m., AJ placed a frantic call to 911, reporting that he had heard gunshots and discovered his parents bleeding in their bedroom. He claimed to have been asleep in another part of the house and was awakened by the sound of the shots. AJ's demeanor during the call was a mix of shock and distress, as he pleaded for immediate assistance. The Armstrongs were considered a picture-perfect family, deeply rooted in their faith and community. Antonio Sr. often shared motivational messages, emphasizing the importance of family and perseverance. Dawn was known for her warmth and dedication to her children's upbringing, Their home was a sanctuary of love and success, making the events of that night all the more baffling. As investigators delved deeper, the narrative began to shift. AJ, the grieving son, soon found himself at the center of a complex and controversial legal battle that would span years, raising questions about familial bonds, adolescent psychology, and the pursuit of justice. In a home secured against intruders, how did tragedy strike from within? Was AJ a victim of circumstance, or was there a darker truth lurking beneath the surface? In the immediate aftermath of the tragic shootings of Antonio and Dawn Armstrong, investigators began piecing together the events of that fateful night. Their 16-year-old son, Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr., had been the one to call 911, reporting that he heard gunshots and discovered his parents bleeding in their bedroom. However, as detectives delved deeper, several critical observations emerged. AJ's account. AJ claimed he was awake and downstairs in the kitchen when he heard the gunshots. He stated that upon hearing the shots, he ran upstairs to find his parents. This placed him as the only family member awake at the time of the incident. Security system data. The Armstrong residence was equipped with a comprehensive security system. Logs from that night showed no signs of forced entry or unauthorized access. No doors or windows had been opened, and there was no evidence of anyone entering or exiting the home during the critical time frame. Ominous note. A chilling note was discovered near the murder weapon in the kitchen. The message, scrawled in nearly illegible handwriting, read, "I have been watching you for a long time. Come get me." This note raised questions about a potential outside threat. As the investigation progressed, several inconsistencies and alarming details regarding AJ's behavior came to light. Prior fire incident. Just days before the murders, AJ had set a small fire inside the house. He burned some papers outside his parents' bedroom door, triggering the smoke alarm. This incident was concerning and suggested possible underlying issues. Test firing the gun. Evidence indicated that AJ had test-fired the same .22 caliber pistol used in the murders inside his own bedroom a week prior. This was evidenced by a bullet hole found in his bedroom floor, suggesting familiarity with the weapon. Lack of gunshot residue. Despite being in close proximity to the crime scene, forensic tests revealed no gunshot residue on AJ's hands or clothing. This absence raised questions about his involvement or suggested he might have taken steps to clean up. While AJ became the primary focus of the investigation, other potential suspects and theories were considered. Half-brother Joshua Armstrong. Joshua, AJ's older half-brother, had a documented history of drug use and emotional instability. Notably, he had moved out of the family home weeks before the murders. During treatment at West Park Springs Hospital, Joshua reportedly made statements claiming he witnessed his parents' murders, placing himself at the scene during the critical time frame. AJ's claims of an intruder. In his 911 call, AJ mentioned seeing a masked man fleeing the scene, suggesting an external perpetrator. However, this claim was at odds with the security system data showing no signs of forced entry or unauthorized access. These conflicting pieces of evidence and testimonies created a complex web of possibilities, leaving investigators to ponder. Did they rush to judgment, or did AJ Armstrong meticulously orchestrate the perfect crime? In a case filled with contradictions and hidden motives, can the evidence unravel the truth behind the tragic deaths of Antonio and Dawn Armstrong? Is the real killer still at large, or has justice been served? First, two mistrials. The legal proceedings against Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. were anything but straightforward. The first trial commenced in 2019, 3 years after the tragic deaths of Antonio and Dawn Armstrong. Despite the prosecution's efforts to present a compelling case, the jury remained deadlocked, unable to reach a unanimous verdict. This impasse was largely attributed to conflicting evidence and testimonies that cast doubt on AJ's guilt. A second trial followed in 2022, aiming to resolve the uncertainties that plagued the first. However, this attempt mirrored the outcome of the initial trial, with jurors once again unable to come to a consensus. Defense attorneys argued that the forensic analysis was flawed, pointing to inconsistencies in the handling and interpretation of evidence. The repeated mistrials underscored the complexities of the case and the challenges in proving AJ's culpability beyond a reasonable doubt. Third trial and conviction. In 2023, a third trial was convened, marked by heightened public interest and intensified legal strategies. This time, the prosecution introduced new evidence and expert testimonies aimed at solidifying their case against AJ. After deliberations, the jury returned a guilty verdict, convicting AJ of the murders of his parents. He was subsequently sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 40 years, given his age at the time of the offense. However, the integrity of this conviction soon came into question. In April 2024, it was revealed that Rochelle Austin, a forensic analyst who had processed evidence in AJ's case, was terminated from the Houston Forensic Science Center for failing routine quality assurance tests. While the district attorney's office maintained that Austin's involvement was limited and did not impact the trial's outcome, defense attorneys argued that her dismissal cast doubt on the reliability of the forensic evidence presented. This development fueled discussions about potential appeals and the overall fairness of the trial. Personal turmoil. Amidst the legal battles, AJ's personal life experienced significant upheaval. His wife, Kate Ober, who had stood by him throughout the trials, filed for divorce in September 2024, approximately a year after his conviction. The couple, high school sweethearts, shared a son and had presented a united front during the legal proceedings. Kate's decision to seek a divorce raised questions about her faith in AJ's innocence and the strain that the prolonged legal saga had placed on their relationship. A case built on circumstantial evidence. 3 trials, a life sentence. But was it justice or a grave mistake? The Armstrong case remains a poignant example of the complexities inherent in the criminal justice system, where legal outcomes can hinge on the delicate balance between evidence, interpretation, and human judgment. AJ's current status. Following his conviction in August 2023 for the murders of his parents, Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years. His incarceration has seen multiple transfers across Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, facilities. Initially housed at the Harris County Jail post-conviction, AJ was moved to the Garza West Unit in Beeville, Texas, on September 21, 2023. Subsequent relocations included the George Beto Unit in Tennessee Colony and the Byrd Unit in Huntsville. As of November 10, 2023, AJ has been assigned to the Robertson Unit in Abilene, Texas, where he is expected to serve the remainder of his sentence. Ongoing appeals. The legal battle surrounding AJ's conviction continues. In August 2023, while the jury deliberated during his 3rd trial, AJ filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Houston. The lawsuit alleges that the Houston Police Department, HPD, planted blood evidence on his clothing to secure a conviction and tarnish his public image. This claim centers on DNA evidence discovered shortly before the 3rd trial commenced, which the defense argues may have resulted from cross-contamination or deliberate misconduct. In addition to the federal lawsuit, AJ's defense team has pursued motions for a new trial, citing procedural errors and concerns about the integrity of forensic evidence presented during the proceedings. Despite these efforts, as of October 2023, a new trial has not been granted due to procedural deadlines. The defense continues to explore appellate options, aiming to overturn the conviction based on alleged violations of AJ's constitutional rights and questions surrounding the forensic analysis. Public debate. The Armstrong case has ignited a polarized public discourse. Supporters of AJ assert that his conviction is a miscarriage of justice, pointing to the circumstantial nature of the evidence and potential mishandling or fabrication of forensic data. They emphasize AJ's consistent claims of innocence and highlight perceived flaws in the investigation and prosecution. Conversely, others contend that the accumulation of evidence, despite being largely circumstantial, compellingly indicates AJ's guilt. They reference the security system data, the absence of forced entry, and AJ's presence in the home at the time of the murders as critical factors supporting the jury's verdict. This division extends beyond the courtroom, influencing public opinion and media narratives. The case has prompted discussions on the reliability of forensic evidence, the potential for investigative misconduct, and the broader implications of juvenile sentencing in the criminal justice system. The Armstrong murders remain one of the most controversial cases in recent history. With ongoing appeals and allegations of evidence tampering, the final chapter is still unwritten. As the legal proceedings continue and new information emerges, the Armstrong case serves as a focal point for examining the complexities of the justice system, the handling of forensic evidence, and the enduring quest for truth in the face of tragedy. Now, I want to hear from you. Was justice truly served, or did the system get it wrong? AJ's 911 call, genuine panic, or something more calculated? And if you didn't do it, then who did? Drop your theories in the comments below. Let's get the discussion going. If you love deep dive true crime cases that challenge everything you think you know, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Because every crime has a final truth.